Well, out of character, I'm going to draw with a wearever pen. You heard me. I didn't say waterman. I didn't say wall. I didn't say wort. I didn't say weidlich. I said wherever. And to make matters even more surprising, I'm using a wearever with a alloy nib. Now, wearevers made, as really all pen companies made, maybe LaBeouf. Maybe LaBeouf is the one company that didn't make shitty pens. But every other pen company, even Parker and Schaefer, Waterman, even Walt Eversharp, made shitty pens at some point in their life, competing with the ballpoint. And they might have made perfectly good ballpoints, if you can even say those words in a sentence together. But they, in order to create fountain pens that were as cheap, as inexpensive as ballpoints, they had to make them as cheap as ballpoints. And the nibs were crappy, and the filling system was crappy, and the plastic was crappy, and everything was crappy. Wearever, on the other hand, is sort of a third-tier pen. And occasionally, just occasionally, they would do something that was remarkably second-tier. Almost good. But what they did make, like Esterbrook, was, well, not as good as Esterbrook. Esterbrook was a second-tier company that made a very good quality second-tier pen. In fact, I think that they were considered first-tier. They just didn't make gold-nibbed pens because they knew their audience and they didn't have to. So they made a really good steel-nibbed pen. Wearever, on the other hand, made gold-nib pens that sometimes inched toward being good, but most of the time were kind of crappy. But anyway, I got this pen in a lot on eBay. It had included three wearever pens. One of them actually had a gold nib. But this one had a sack in it, and it was all ready to go, so I decided to make it go. And I was rather surprised at how smooth, if I had a blindfold on and wrote with this pen and saw the line that I made, I might say that could have been made with a Parker, or even a Schaefer, or maybe even a Waterman. It's so funny. I'm just looking at the feed here. Even the feed is shitty. Rather than having a feed that has carved out divots like that to hold the ink, this one just has the pattern of the carved out divots stamped in, so it actually doesn't function. Oh, funny. Things I learn when I should be doing work. But anyway, it's very smooth and surprising in its ability to make a line that's quite attractive and feels good to do. Now, because I know it's a steel-nibbed pen, an alloy of some sort, special alloy. Is that what it says? Come on. Can I look? Special alloy. Special alloy. You might as well put air quotes around it because they're magic alloy. Special sauce on your Big Mac. Anyway, where was I going with this? I don't even remember. Special alloy it has. But it's actually kind of nice. But I know, yes, here's where I was going. I know that given the hours left until Judgment Day or the supernova or the secret police rounding people like me up, shooting me by the with or without a blindfold or cigarette, that this nib will probably not last as long as a gold nib would. So there's this borrowed timedness that I feel in my being when I'm using a pen like this, because I have this belief that the nib will eventually spring or rust or somehow break. The plastics, too, that these pens were made of also were not great. I noticed that the pen, even without me fixing it, it did suck up ink. Let me see if I can fix it here. The nib was on the bottom side of the pen. Here, I'll put it on the top side. And come on, don't break on me. Now the nib and the lever match up. Yeah, now it all goes together. But it's actually, I was surprised. It's actually quite a lovely pen. There's nothing wrong. Well, is there nothing wrong with it? Oh, yes, there is something wrong. There's a chip out of the top. Well, what do you know? It has its fencing scar. Oh well, it's still making me smile. This other wearever that I got in that same lot has a clear plastic feed, a bent but 14 karat gold nib, which I might be able to unbend. And why did it bend, you're asking? Is it because there's no inner cap and someone screwed it down? Is that why? No, there is an inner cap. Oops. There's that much nib that could go before it hits the inner cap. So maybe this is. Oh, okay. It does go in further. The nib might have been put out too far and then screwed into the inner cap. Come on. This doesn't really like to go in any further than that, does it? Don't try this at home. Anyway, I can't tell if it's hitting the inner cap or not. I could measure it more carefully than I did with my paintbrush. But I'll see if I can fix this nib first before I play around with it. The last wearever, the third wearever that came in that lot is this one, and this is the one that's completely useless. It has a really crappy nib, and it does not have an inner cap. I mean, this is an example of wearever's ineptitude fully exhibited. So there you go. Bye.